thank you for dropping by. The last time you were here, I had painted the living room area, so now it's a white canvas. I still can't use the space because I have no furniture as yet. I am doing something which I think is very ambitious for me, having a go at making an upholstered sofa. Why make my own sofa, you ask? The cost of a new sofa here on the island of Barbados starts from about $3,000 for a decent sofa. You can get cheaper ones, but they're not worth buying if you want them to last. Now, if you followed me a few episodes ago, I made an outdoor seating area. Now, I'm going to modify that design and upholster it. Let's get started. Now, the sofa will be 6 foot in length and about 3 foot deep, similar dimensions to a single bed, so I can use it for when I have visitors staying over. I'm using 2x4s. The wood in total cost me $137, which is not bad. I would like for this build to come in around $1,000. I've got a contingency of $200, but I really don't want to spend $1,200 on one sofa. So let's see if I can do it. You've seen me make a chair before, so I'm going to put this on time lapse just to speed things along. I have already cut the wood, so what I'm doing here is creating the pocket holes so I can join all the pieces of wood together. For those of you who are thinking about doing woodworking, honestly, once you get into it, it's a lot easier. This is the third chair I'm making, and it's so much easier. So if it's something you want to have a go at, go ahead. Now, the outdoor chairs were designed to be quite low. I want the one indoor to be much higher. So I went online and found out what the average height of a sofa was. So this was the first amendment to that design. August in Barbados is really, really hot. So it made this job even harder. So just to remind you, this bit here is the arm, that is the side, that's the brace, and then the legs are at the end. It's at this point that I'm beginning to have a little twinge of doubt, but I did nothing about it at that point. Now I'm assembling the frame for the slats and the cushions to sit on. The wood is treated. I should have got untreated because it's inside. This makes it very heavy. So what I've decided to do was to take all the pieces indoors and assemble it inside rather than move it later, because there's no way I would be able to manage that, especially on my own. Like I said, I've done this before, so assembling the pieces was straightforward. Or so I thought. As it was a much larger construction, the pieces were heavier and I had to use a lot of brace to hold things in place while I screwed them in. So it was tricky. Okay, the frame of the sofa is done. I even went and bought all the rest of the materials, and I'll give you a price breakdown later. But I'm looking at it, something is not quite right. I realise the seat section is too low when you compare it to the armrest. You'd be sat much lower down. Now I've got two choices. I can go and buy a piece of foam to lift the seat up, and that'll cost over $100, which I don't want to do. Or I can take all the slats off, get another strip of 2x4 and then put the slats on top of that, if you know what I mean. It'll become clear in a second. I think I will do that because that works out cheaper, because that's £34. Now let's test the seat to arm ratio. I put a piece of sponge down, that's a lot better. That'll do. Now it's time to start the upholstery stage. This is where I am less confident, but I've watched enough YouTube videos, so I should have an idea how to do it. Putting on the hessian on the sides is straightforward. I'll leave that for now, but I want to concentrate on putting on these hessian strips at the back. I've forgotten what they're called. These are very important in terms of providing support for the cushions, so they have to be done. I've watched the tutorials, like I said, but I'm sure this is a lot harder than it looked. Okay, so it doesn't look professional, but it's quite taut, and I've stapled it within an inch of its life, so it'll do the job. To my annoyance, my staple gun decided to die on me, so I had to go and purchase another one, a much heavier duty one, to be fair, but that's an additional $100. Nearly finished the first layer of the upholstery process. It's looking all right. Pleased with it so far. I almost made my second blunder by not putting a mesh on the seat before the foam. Almost, but not quite made that blunder. I decided to add the foam round the outside of the sofa first and then do the seat later. interesting to note that there is a lot of layers to a sofa to make it soft and spongy. Even though this is just the base, I am going to have some big, thick cushions around the inside of the sofa as well as on the seat. But still, you need all this cushioning as part of the design. What you see me doing here is laying out the 2-inch foam because I don't think I've got enough to cover the whole chair. And again, I really don't want to have to spend any more because I am close to that £1,000, I might even be over the £1,000 budget. As you can see, I was able to patch it, so I just about had enough. Right, this step is the one just before you put the material over. This offers a nice spongy texture. I think it's called wadding. There is another name for it, but I'm not sure what that is. Okay, so I've put the wadding on. I'm going to call my sister to give me a hand now because this stage is important. The wadding has to be tight and all the edges of the wadding has to be glued down. My sister's got a much finer eye for detail at this stage. I think she'd be the best person to do this. And here is the finished base. The next stage is to make all the cushions for the sofa. To make the cushions, I needed a good quality upholstery fabric. Now, there was a fabric that I really liked, just a nice plain fabric, but it is way out of my budget at $37 a yard. There was this fabric which I bought for $10 a yard, but I think I made a mistake because it's very fussy and it's not really my cup of tea. Then I thought, well, the room is just a plain white, so choosing something with a bit of pattern might give the room a little bit of a lift. I cut and hand stitched the first cushion just to get an idea, and my sister machined all the cushions for me. And here's the reveal. The total cost of the sofa was $1,033 Bajan dollars. That's all in. For that money, I have a solid wood 2-seater sofa with a lovely soft velvety upholstery. Let me know what you think because I absolutely love it. I just need a coffee table now. I think that'll be my next project. Until next time, bye.